I gave you a tiny bit of a reprieve.
Live. Okay, we're live.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. We're going to actually be timely for a meeting. Is that awesome or what? Okay. Yeah, well, hold on, just wait. Where is my fearless vice president?
There he is. Right there.
And who else are we missing here?
Carol, she just went to the rest, so she's getting water.
Carol's coming. She's on her way. Let's go, Carol. Woo!
Will you actually sit next to me? I will sit next to you. I don't like the visibility stuff.
So ready? So this is our town hall. This is the mid-year deal. Trying to give you guys an update.
Yeah, turn this
Turn the end. The other one.
Now turn the next one.
That one off.
Turn that one off and this one on.
Yeah.
Now turn that one off.
The far left. There you go. All right. Okay. Town hall. And oh, it didn't work. Push it again.
Oh, we don't have sound?
I guess we don't have sound.
We did turn it on.
We don't have sound? Everyone's welcome here. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking he is a little bit of a mascot. Well, if we don't have it, it's not a big deal. We can deal without it.
No, we can't. You have all those cues.
Okay, well, Marilyn says we do.
You worked on it.
I did.
I'm sorry, I forgot to
Music
send
is
you
where
those
the
pictures
emotion is.
last
That's
night.
where the
So you can back up one if you really want to.
so sexy.
Three of you. You're not quite advanced enough to do the sounds, I'm sorry.
Okay, fine, you'll just have to pretend there's sounds. That was clapping. Everybody, welcome. Woohoo! Okay, go ahead. Our fearless mascot. Everybody's welcome. Go ahead. And I would ask Marilyn to open us, please.
Just like you to take a moment and go ahead and put yourself into whatever pose feels comfortable. Feet on the floor, eyes lowered or closed, whatever feels right to you. And so I just know that as we come together to learn and be together and be in community, that we are surrounded by love. We are surrounded by that spirit that knows only good for every single one of us. So I'm so grateful for this opportunity to realize that that one spirit, that one power, that oneness is what we all are. Even though we have individual traits and individual gifts, that we all come together as one. Just sort of like the body, you know, there's hands and there's feet and there's heart and all that. All contributes to the functioning of your body. So I'm just so grateful for each person who's here, grateful for every question that you might have, how it might get answered. And I just know that we are surrounded by love. So grateful for that, and I release these words into the law knowing that we are going to have an awesome, awesome town hall, and so it is.
Does somebody want to do a Facebook Live on their phone with this?
We're streaming.
You don't have any sound?
No, we have sound. We just don't have the sound effects.
Just the sound?
We got this sound. We don't have sound effects for the screen. Okay.
Fun stuff.
So we're just going to do we're going to just run down the line and introduce our names and what our role is on the board, and then we'll jump into the meat.
I'm Marilyn Kirk, and I am a practitioner representative, but I'm also the secretary on the board.
I'm Gil, and they make me come.
I'm Carol March, and I come too.
Into the mic.
Into the mic. I'm Carol March, and I come too. I don't have a specific role.
But she works hard.
I do work hard.
I'm Cheryl Ray. I'm your president because nobody else would. And I'll tell you that Marilyn and Brian really actually have the hardest jobs. That's just my personal opinion. They have the hardest jobs. They got to put up with me.
I'm Brian Kurtz, fellow human being, and I'm the vice president because I'm not stupid enough to be the president.
My name is Kent Pitzenbarger. I'm a grateful member of the board and a pleasure to be here, a member of this church.
I'm Sherry Noon, and I've done a bunch of things on this board, and so I'm a member at large, and I'm enacting something or other.
And as much as Sherry's done, she's still around.
So all these ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a hand. Yes, so thank you. All right. So, well,
That's sort of Sherry's
that's
sort of.
Sherry is a pseudo treasurer. We're working on it. Okay, I'm going to turn over here so that I can see better. So the purpose of this town hall is to provide transparency, celebrate progress, summarize where we've been, where we're headed, where we are financially, where we need to be, what the role of the board is, how you can get involved, and opportunities for the community. And then we'll have some question and answer. And you should have, if you don't, you will hear shortly, some cards. If you'll pull the pin out from in front of you, then you can write on there any questions that you have. And John, who has graciously agreed to play Vanna White. These are for the question and answers at the end. So if you have questions, just go ahead and jot them down, all right? So where were we? Go ahead. Our last residence was on Alexander. While we were there, we hosted community celebrations, times of fellowship, Sundays, holidays, meditation, classes and workshops, sacred celebrations from birth to birthdays to marriage to end of life. And solid grounds, thank you very much. We even stepped out for picnics. During the pandemic, we got flexible and made our service available online. After COVID, our congregation decreased. With the decrease of the congregation came also a decrease in income. At the same time, our rent continued to go up. This combination was not sustainable, so we decided it was time to move to a place within our means. At the 11th hour, we found our new home. That's not close enough? Okay, let's go ahead. It was a fixer-upper, but we knew this was the place. Lots of folks for many hours and days dug in and transformed a ragged space into an amazing place. Okay. Then we had moving day. And where are we? We're right here. It's coming, I promise.
There it is.
There we are. And here we have, it's a little bit adjusted now, but here we are. We've had our open house. We had Ricky Byers. We've had Gil's ordination. Go, Gil. We had our first art show. We've had drag bingo. And solid grounds. I did get it in there. Oh, and we've been to the Pride Parade. See, I wasn't there to take pictures, so I didn't have those. So what's next? And this is where we get to listen to Gil.
All right. So that was a very short trip down memory lane, reminding us where we've been and where we are. And we're going to touch a little more on some of the amazing miracles that came out of that time period. But what I'd like to just mention is that, you know, we've had this vision of creating a community that's strong and a vision of collaborating with other communities and being more in touch. And that vision was continuing to outpicture as we were on at the other place, and yet there feels like there was a real movement when we came here. I don't know, maybe it's because we all have to sit closer together. I think that must be it. No, but the vision for reaching out in the community and doing more, we've had so much of that happening. We've had a lot of people reach out to the place across the street, to the Young Adult Gateway Center in different ways. I know that Roger and Barbara took a couple boxes of books after they spoke to them about what they might need and took those over. Others of us have just been over there and said hello, and we are all keeping in our mind how we might be of service. We have multiple ideas about other areas in the community, but we also reached out to everybody in this mall before our open house. So not only did we have the open house, we connected with all the businesses. And in addition to that, I know that we made some connections with some of the neighbors along the street behind us as well. So the vision going forward is that we continue to be open, to reach out, to embrace what's happening, and to embrace one another in community. And I think that is our strength. That is our strength, because we're not a particularly rich congregation. We're not particularly, I was going to say, not particularly young and vital. Don't have a whole lot of extra. We don't, yeah. I guess we can do pretty well at mini golf. No, but you know, there's things that you could look at and go, well, that we don't have that. But that's okay, because we're open to it and we're creating the space. Because, you know, we do have our youngest member starting his first day of kindergarten tomorrow. So little Miguelito. And we have work to live in this space, and we have all these plans coming forward, which you're going to hear more about. And I just want to invite everyone to really go into how they can be grateful for where we are and see what's coming. Because as we've kept our eye on the ball of creating, things have created. There have been things that have happened where I don't know who did them. There have been things that have happened because somebody came and said, well, I'm going to work on this. And other people said, oh, well, I'm going to help with that. And that energy is what's propelled us forward. And so the board has been doing its job, but the job of creating community is all of us. And that's what I see happening. That's what I see happening. And so I'm encouraged that, you know, this time next year, okay, so let's just be honest. We have like 30 people in here. That is pretty good for a town hall. That's pretty darn good. And so, you know, next year we'll have 50 or 60 in here for a town hall. And that's okay. And we have been consistently, since we've settled, we've started to increase a little bit. And there's all kinds of ways that we can continue this reaching into into the community of people that show up, into the community of people that are here, and into our community beyond. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is relinquish the mic, and I can add things later if needed. Okay? Who's next? No, no. We'll see. We have to see what happens next. It's on. What's that word you do? No, that's further down the line, right? Or did we switch it?
Well, apparently somebody forgot to switch it down. So you guys deal with it, okay? Okay. So I have a board. What? Go with the flow. We do go with the flow. Go ahead. So the board works with the vision and mission and vision, including the mission and the minister. We're responsible for formulating the mission statement, which we have. And the board facilitates and establishes our vision with other leaders within our GCSL. One of the things that we're doing with the vision and mission, and we're in the process of getting them actually up on the wall so that we can see them, we can be reminded. So the mission is on the back. The vision is going to be eventually 3 times fast. So we've got salaries, we've got rent, we've got utilities, cable, internet, security system, we've got all the day-to-day costs.
My point is, we all know people that we may miss, like, you know, where'd you go? Invite people in. Invite people who've never been. Because a lot of people who don't do anything like this on Sunday are fed up with what they knew was on Sunday. This is not that. When I walked in here in April of 22, I was home. It's like I walked in the door and it was like, wow, I'm the youngest one here. But it feels great. And I wasn't really the youngest one here, but it's like the first few people I saw, of course, you know, I'm still 40, so, you know, that's the way that works. When you get to be in your 60s, you still kind of feel like you're 40, except the first few minutes every morning. That's another story. But between the offerings, loans, and approximate value of the actual service that people presented and contributed to the move, you know, like packing up for the move, making the move, installing everything, scraping the old stuff off the floor, repainting and caulking all the cracks and all the stuff to be able to paint the walls. And I mean, we're talking hundreds of hours. About 1,000 person hours went into bringing this place to what you're looking at right now. And we're not finished, you know, we still got stuff to do in the kitchen. We still need a dishwasher and a stove and, you know, all this stuff, right? The point is, we have done so much and accomplished so much as a congregation, with everyone bringing, some folks can't physically work, but they can bring some money, or they can bring some sandwiches, or make some time, or whatever. The point is, it was a living example of what could be and what is for this congregation, because so many people are doing so much stuff. So what we're not making from that $80 a person we need every week from every person based on the number of people we got, somehow we're making up almost all of it almost every week with events and fundraisers and the cool stuff we're doing and the art show. And, you know, there's all this, people selling their artwork, people selling books out of the bookstore. Everyone's got something. And if everyone can do and be who they're here to do and be, we'll be okay. Stewardship committee meeting, just for the record, gets kind of tight. Like there are some Mondays where the spreadsheet gets created and Reverend Gill and Cheryl and I have our meeting on Monday night. It's like, okay, so this is our number for bills. This is how much we have. What the hell? And at some point, either Reverend Gill or Cheryl or me reminds the other two who are freaking out, no, it's okay. God's got us covered. We don't know how, but we don't have to know how. We just have to trust that it's so. Love in action, that there are going to be people who bring love in action, or some money that someone owes us is going to come in, or whatever. But the point is who the three of us is on the stewardship committee and who the board is holding space for all of this stuff to occur for all of our benefit. I mean, and remember, none of us on the board are millionaires. Some of us aren't even thousandaires, okay? But we can trust that stuff comes in. And when we make a call out, folks, we need $12,000 to move. That $12,000 showed up. Well, oh yeah, and then there's this other stuff. We need like another big chunk of change. We hadn't even realized that we also need, okay, and that showed up. And a lot of it was loans, some of it was gifts, but the point is, we're paying it back. Every week, a little more of what we owed is getting paid back. We had to do a little robbing Peter to pay Paul. There was a lot of robbing Peter to pay Paul for a while. Now, there's less robbing necessary, and oftentimes there's money getting paid back, so that's like then we got more money that we don't need to rob Peter to pay Paul. I don't know if all that's making sense, but the bottom line is we are making progress every single week. I was all excited when I found out, oh wow, our rent's going to be like $4,700 a month less than what it was. Yeah. But we were in the hole $4,500 a month every month. So the couple of $100 difference is like, that's just where we were, okay? So everybody come on in and bring a friend. I brought my sweetheart. She's now the head of the outreach committee. Okay? You never know when you bring someone in how they're going to get moved by this place, but I've never met anyone who wasn't moved when they came into this place. Without exception. That's why Kent's here. Someone invited him over. I came in because I had heard about a CSL in Austin, Texas, and then I moved here, and it's like, well, I wonder if there's a CSL. Sure enough, there was a CSL. If you don't bring your friend, you're cheating your friend out of what they could have being here and what you could add to your relationship with them. And how cool is that when you can actually have more than, hey, let's go grab a beer together? You know? It's just so much more, life is richer. So do that, be that. And now we can talk about outreach, because that is where a whole lot of good stuff happens.
I can't reach it. Thank you.
Can I commandeer for just a moment? I want to jump in real quick. I wanted you to notice on that last slide, a couple slides ago, that we estimated somewhere around $120,000 in value in our move. Now, some months ago, about a year ago, my friend Marilyn started declaring that we were knowing $10,000 a week in order to sustain our place. Now, in literal dollars, we've not seen that. But during that move, we were bringing in $10,000 plus a week every single week for 12 weeks. I just want you to think about how that shows up. And literally, we would have a gigantic bill if we had needed to pay for all that happened here. It would be something around that, $100,000 or so. So I just wanted you to see that and acknowledge yourselves for standing in that space and trusting it in all that people gave. Oh, and one more thing, we mentioned loans. We had taken on 3 separate loans, and we have paid one of them back completely. So.
Yeah.
I am going to talk about outreach, but I would just like to reiterate that the manifestation in this community is quite amazing to watch. And everybody needs to take credit. Every one of you is a part of what happened, from moving to Alexander to coming here to creating a beautiful space that is welcoming. The people walk in the door and say, do you rent it out? I'd like to do my meeting here. Okay, so I want everybody to take credit for that. In terms of outreach, a year ago at Thanksgiving, Brian Kurtz stood up at the dinner and said, hey, Karen Ford, are starting an outreach committee. And Karen was here that day. She's in LA, as you know, and she has been spearheading the outreach committee since then. And several of us volunteered to join her that day, and more people volunteered as time went on. So outreach was an issue. This is before we found this place. We were still struggling to, should we move? Should we rent places? Should we buy a place? What should we do? And so the whole vision of the outreach committee was to increase the visibility of the center in the community and to attract new people into our community and to have new programs that would attract new people, because the congregation is not the only ones responsible for earning the money that's needed to make this place going. There's other ways of getting money besides that. So that's what we set out to do. And then we found the place and started to move, so that put a whole different complexion on our work. So we have been meeting regularly since, I believe, early January. And the first thing we did, because this is one of Karen's great strengths, is that we looked at our messaging, we looked at how we are communicating about who we are to the community, and we now have a complete revamping of our brochure and our flyers and our website, thanks to Tamara. She's doing a great job with that. So all of our messaging has been completely changed. We have changed some of the words that we use to be more welcoming, so we can be more collaborative with people people that are different from us. I think that was the whole key to looking at what was different about coming here and being under this new idea of what does it mean to be a community. We also looked at programs that we could develop to both increase revenue and also to be of service to the community. So the revamp of the materials went beautifully. Karen is a genius at this, and I thank her from the bottom of my heart that I didn't have to do it because I don't do graphics. I do words, but not graphics. So she did a wonderful job, and Tamara's doing a great job with the website. I know many people haven't seen it yet, but very soon we're going to be blown away, I think, by what she's done. So we looked at what are we already doing, and we were doing a lot. We were doing solid grants. We had a bookstore. We had classes and workshops. We did all kinds of things already. So what could we do to make things better was the idea with the outreach. And in addition to that, although it was a separate committee, the revisioning of our bookstore was taking place at the same time. And there's some overlap between that committee and this one. And outreach, it turned out that the vision for the bookstore was primarily outreach. It was creating a different vibe, a different look, a different feel, and a more generalized kind of approach to what do we carry in the bookstore, which up to that point had been primarily books for people taking classes here. And now we're looking at expanding that, making it more interesting to the general public. We renamed it the Quantum Portal, excuse me, which is a wonderful name because a portal, you walk into a portal, you take one step, and all of a sudden you're in another world. And one tiny step can have enormous effects. So that's the message of the Quantum Bookstore, Quantum Portal. It is seen as an entryway, in effect, an entry to the larger public about coming in, because people who read love bookstores, and once we get our vision somewhat more manifest, I'm very happy to do some advertising about that because I think we can bring people in to the bookstore, especially for the Christmas buying season. So that's been going on. And then we looked at events, and some of these have already been alluded to, but our first big event was the open house, which we did on May 2nd. And there we did reach out to the community. We were collaborative. We did have some new people come in. We had a good time. And with the raffle and the cakewalk, we actually made significant revenue from the open house. So that was a big success in that respect. And then 1 week later was the Ricky Byers concert. And that had been already planned, but we did do a lot of advertising for that. And that was another successful event. And then the very next day, I was amazed when I did this calendar. I thought, oh my God, we were so busy. The next day was Reverend Gill's ordination. And so we had lots of out-of-town folks and people from other organizations and churches coming in, and that was a really wonderful event. And for that event, we got this art show up in time, which behind the scenes was frankly not an easy thing, but we did that. We got it accomplished. This is all art by our community members. So the idea here was to give a showcase for people with their artistic ability and also to make our space more beautiful. And there's nothing more beautiful than having art on the walls. So that was one thing that we wanted to do. The next thing we did was a workshop by author and psychologist Davina Katulski. And some of you, unfortunately, that had to be postponed, but some of you did attend the makeup session. We sold some of her books, and she is coming back at the end of August. She's a wonderful speaker. You heard her talk if you were in service that day, and I can guarantee you'll have a good time if you come to that workshop. Then we did an author event, which is a little bit more highbrow than some of our stuff, but we got in 5 LGBTQ local authors who spoke about their work. They participated in a panel about writing, about being gay in writing, and we had about 20 people who had never been here before show up for that specific event. They loved the event, and although it wasn't a moneymaker in particular, we did get a rental through that event, so that was kind of nice. You never know what's going to happen when you have an event. Then we had drag bingo. Everybody's either been there or heard about that. It was a financial success, and it was fun. And we had been talking about bingo at Alexander, and we had plenty of room there, which we could have really done some significant bingoing. But here, we didn't have the space, so there was some question about that. And it did work out magnificently. About half the people who came were new. We had an age range from 20s all the way up to senior citizens, and we did make some significant revenue. revenue. So the fun aspect, though, was very evident. Everybody seemed to have a really good time. And then we also have another art show that is now in the submission process, and this is a queer trans art show, and that is going to be hung late September through November. And so this was so much fun, and now that there's a system in place for it, we are looking at having art shows on a continuing basis, maybe every few months or every quarter, and having different themes. And one thing we're looking at for Christmas is a kids show, having local children bring their art in for that. So that would be a lot of fun. So looking at where the committee is now, we've been very busy. We've done a lot of work. Everybody has really participated and showed up and been a real team. We've established collaborative relationships with community organizations, with businesses, and so forth. So that's been successful. We have great materials that are now, if somebody sees one of our flyers, there's a chance they're going to know it came from us just by how it looks, regardless of what it says. So it's in business language, that's branding, but it certainly works. We have a system for publicity, because one of our questions was, many of us are, not the youngest folks in the world. And so we think of advertising, we think print. And that's not what works today. For most people, it's not print, it's electronic advertising that is the way people find things out. And so we now have a system in place to look at, it's not super heavy on social media, but we do things like Facebook and Nextdoor, and there's many calendar sites with all the TV stations, radio stations, and others that we have been using to publicize all the events that we've done in outreach. So we have a system in place, everything's been documented, and we are now looking for an intern, possibly a college student or somebody with experience in marketing, to come in and help us grow the marketing aspect and the publicity aspect of the outreach program. But we have a beginning. That was kind of a good thing. I'm a writer, so I need notes, and I'm old and I need paper. So looking forward, what are we going to do looking forward? And one of the things we're doing is the intern is one thing, but another thing is that we've developed a calendar for all the events, both internal and external, and that is still not been finalized, but we expect it to be finalized relatively soon. So anybody who wants to know what the heck is going on around here is going to be able to see the calendar. And that, when it's finalized, will be able to be integrated with the calendar of all the other events and activities that the center does, which are now on Breeze. So we're going to bring those two together. Some of the events that we're looking at, just to pique your interest, is if anybody likes to get dressed up and walk down a red carpet, there's a possibility you might be able to do that in March. We're looking at a gala around the Academy Award. So that's another fun event that we're looking at that would be a lot of fun, we think. We're looking at maybe doing a craft show, not this fall, but next fall, which would again bring artists and different types of folks into the center and could be quite lucrative. We're looking at additional bingo events, since everybody loved that one so much, so we're looking at doing that again, and maybe doing an annual open house. So there's lots of ideas that have been brought forth, and we have lots of opportunities, because now that outreach has made this beginning and made a lot of inroads into how to do some of these things, we're looking at how do we spin off some of the activities. For example, event planning, publicity, and fundraising. They're not really outreach. What outreach is more like what we did at the parade, where we go into the community, communicate about who we are, give out our materials, talk to people, not necessarily selling anything. That's truly what outreach is, and we haven't had time to really investigate how to do that more effectively. But if we had an event planning committee that liked to do events and had a process in place, they could plan both internal and external events. So if you're interested in anything like that, there are openings. And also for fundraising and publicity. So what I guess I'm saying here is that there's a lot of opportunity for anybody in the community to get involved at whatever level you're comfortable with, to bring your skills and to learn new skills, because we have people that really know a lot about this. We've learned a lot in the last year. I've certainly learned a lot about publicity that I didn't know before, and the whole idea of leadership is to be able to teach and bring people along. So that's really where we are. There's lots of opportunities to have fun, and I can tell you from personal experience, it's a lot of fun to put on an event that is successful. Whether that's successful in terms of bringing people in or generating revenue or both. So that it's not all work, but it actually is enjoyable. So that's kind of where we are. And also you'll get recognition too. You get recognized when you do things in the community. So yeah, exactly. We see you. I had to get visible to do this, so I'll be your model. So that's what I had to say about outreach. All right. Thanks, Carol.
Yay. As you can see from what's happened so far, that this is a very dedicated group of people. And what you may not know is that for the better part of last year, this group met every 2 weeks. And it was a lot because there was a lot going on in Alexander, and then what to do next was always constantly on our mind. And so now we're able to meet monthly. Yay. As secretary, yay. But what I'm here to talk about is the spiritual growth opportunities. Now, many of you may have taken a class or a workshop at Rio Grande, but I want you to just stop for a moment and think about what it was, how you felt when you first walked through the doors of either this community or another CSL community. You were probably searching for something. Maybe you were looking for healing or peace or a purpose, or just simply needing to find a home where you felt good. And so what we often discover, though, whenever we come into a CSL community, and Rio Grande is one of those communities, is that our spiritual journey doesn't end on Sunday. It's kind of like the beginning, you know? And so what we do, though, is we find that we feel like we want to do some sort of a deepening experience. And so that's where spiritual growth comes in. Spiritual growth opportunities is much more about just taking a class. It's about joining a community of people who are committed to learning and growing in love, living with greater intention, and supporting one another as we awaken to our highest selves. And so in every class you will find thoughtful discussion and practical spiritual tools, friendships that you didn't even know you wanted to have, and there you go, and moments that change the way you see yourself in the world. You don't have to have all the answers just to get started in a class, so you simply just need willingness to start on the journey or taking the trip. So what is up now on the board is the beginning of where you can start, if you haven't already started, to join us in a class. And our very first class that we will be teaching this semester is, that's why you're calling you as an explorer, you're a beginning student, Foundations of Science and Mind and Spirit. And what this is, it will be facilitated by our very own senior minister, Reverend Gill. There will be 5 classes and plus an additional free class, which will be a new member orientation that, of course, is optional, but, you know, we'd like to just make it 6 classes so it's easy. And that's supposed to be starting on Tuesdays, August 25th, and will be at 6:30 to 9, and it will be on Zoom, so that you can attend wherever you are, including our good buddy Karen, who's in California. And it will teach you about the core principles of CSL. It is an ideal first class that can lead you on to lifelong learning, and it is the first step in your spiritual path. Some of you may have been around when I spoke about education and spiritual growth opportunities a few weeks ago. This is that foundations. It's like the very beginning, gives you the core principles. Okay, let's move to the next slide, please. And then there's also, as part of that, is new member orientation. This will be one class for anybody who's interested in becoming a member of Rio Grande CSL. Then this is one of those areas where we encourage you to come to this class. There is no charge for this, and it will be on Tuesday, September 29th. You'll learn about centers for spiritual living. That's what we call home office, or some people call the mothership. And also what we do believe. And this will, I'm sorry, missed the rest of that. Can you back up a little? Sorry. And this will be your invitation to join as a member of our community. Thanks, Mike.
Is that one going to be on Zoom as well?
Yes, yes, that will also be on Zoom, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, and for those of you who are advanced students, you've already taken a foundations class, and I'm going to say for a moment, there are actually 4 foundation type classes. So once you've taken one of those, then the next step would be a history class. And the one that we're going to go ahead and do is called Ancient Wisdom and Science of Mind. This is a brand new class from Home Office, and it is 5 classes. It's going to start in mid-September. It is about New Thought and also ancient wisdom, and this will explore the bridge between universal spiritual principles that have been found in many, many ancient wisdom traditions. So it should be pretty interesting. Very new class. And then after that one, we're going to have a consciousness class, and this is called Consciousness and the Creative Process. It's 6 classes, and this will be exploring the intricacies of the creative process, and also will help you gain the ability to consciously create. So if you've been hearing about, what we think about, we actually do create, this is a way of purposefully doing that, and that's a really great thing. These are all certificated classes, and if you don't know what that means, it means you do get an official certificate from Home Office. And for anybody who is either considering becoming a practitioner, or like some of us, you get to the point where you've taken so many classes, you go, oh, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and take practitioner training because that's what's next, So, but you need these certain certificated classes in order to then begin the practitioner training. Okay, so I think I am complete with all of that on the spiritual growth opportunities, and I invite you to consider joining a class, being a part of what we're doing, and just elevate your own thought process along the way. So thanks so much.
Okay. So we need you for any of these and more. We need folks to help with membership, activities, events, classes, workshops, the bookstore, solid ground. Why didn't I get solid grounds up there? Okay, well, I needed to go to sleep. That's why. No, but we need people to join us with these. I'd love to see everybody here at Solid Grounds. We have a lot of fun at Solid Grounds. I'm just saying. Okay. Oh wait, back up just a tiny bit. Just one. There you go. So consider what is calling you. Each person here has something that they can give, that they can participate in. They have a specialty. They have something that calls to them. What is it that calls to you that makes it so that you can participate in what's going on? I mean, is it Solid Grounds? Is it maybe considering being on the board, which that's a whole different animal, I'll tell you right now. But it is needed, and that $120,000 that we did in kind for that, you don't even want to know what your board has put in. It's that just puts the whole numbers way different. I'm just gonna say, all right. So what can you do? So did anybody get a chance to write questions down on their cards? So John's gonna pick those up for us. Thank you, John. Unless
We can have them speak them.
you can speak them here. We can here. Well, but we're gonna have to have. Huh?
He could be the mic bearer.
Right.
Yeah, I thought we would probably be giving our questions to you guys so you could answer them. So first thought I have is, you say you have materials available. what materials do you have, and how do we access those? Because I've got thoughts about, ways to bring people in and whatnot, but I need a way of providing them information. Yeah. Okay.
Really, thank you for asking the question. Thank you for asking that question. It's been something I've been whining about for quite some time in the outreach meetings. It's one of the real challenges in a community like this, which is how to communicate effectively with people who access information in all sorts of different ways. We are working on that. The website is one aspect. The newsletter is another. We have flyers. We have lists of classes. It's still a work in progress because obviously the question wouldn't have been asked if we really got our hands around it. So we are working on that, and we have several ideas. And you had an idea, Marilyn. No, here you go. Oh, here we go.
I was just going to show Johnny that this sheet that's in the back of the chairs usually has information on solid grounds on one side, and then our website and donation on the other side. So that's the side we usually have out. That's very basic. We also have this brochure, which is available, and feel free to take them anytime. We're updating them as we go forward. We're continuing to update them. Yes, they're out there in the front, on the front counter. They're available. And then this is another type of thing where we created something creative, and one of the ideas is to put a calendar of events on one side and then have a little blurb on the other. So that's just.
Well, I had a very simple thought. What about business card?
She's asking, what about business cards?
Yeah. Okay, because that way, any of the church members that wanted to take 10 maybe, set a goal to give out and invite people.
Okay.
Yeah. So what she's talking about is having business cards so that we can each take however many we want that has information just in a nutshell about our community, so we can pass them out. Just has the service information such as that. I think that's a good idea.
Okay, I have a question.
Sue has something.
Oh, Sue, do you have a question from? Okay.
She wants to know how the congregation would prefer to get information about the calendar and that's what it does.
Okay.
The website, what versions, other ideas.
Okay, so Karen Ford, who is our outreach person in California, is online, and she's asking, how do people prefer to get their information, whether it's in a calendar type look, is it in the newsletter, is it through the website, is it in some kind of print version? And there's one back there.
I personally prefer when we have a calendar and there's the events and you can just click on the calendar and you'll see what's happening that day.
Okay.
Or the following, or the next.
So, okay.
Online?
Online.
So Barbara's talking about an online calendar similar to what we have with Breeze, where you have everything listed, you can click on it and see what it is. We are actually doing that. We're creating an integration thing that would make that much more functional through the new website. So,
Yeah, but then when you click on that, say you see something you're interested in, you click on that date, then it takes you to an explanation
of that.
of that.
Yeah. So having an interactive calendar that you can click on an event or a day and it'll give you more information right then. Yeah. Which actually the Breeze calendar does at this time. It does have the ability to do that, but we also have a way of doing that much more robustly with one of the things we're looking at. It will pull from the Breeze calendar and then it will put the things in so that when you click on it, you'll see a picture and a thing, and yes, on the new website. That's a thing. Brian.
A question that you can ask.
This morning during announcements I was hearing, and you can find out more about that on Breeze, and you can find more about this on Breeze. Show of hands, how many people know how to get on Breeze? How many people either don't know how to get on Breeze or don't like Breeze? Okay, so I just wanted to ask, and now we know.
Quite a few. Could I just add to that and ask how many people would prefer to have print rather than have to use an electronic method of communication? Okay, that's not as many as I thought, but I suspect that's one of the issues, is that we need to have both. We need to have print and electronic, and we need to make it easier for people to access. That's my opinion.
So,
Sherry has a...
Barbara, the calendar you were talking about, how similar is that in function to Google Calendar, where you can call up a month or a day and click on the day and they'll tell you what events are happening? Is it that kind of similarity we would want to see in a calendar, which can be colorful, user-friendly, and you can drill down to the bottom to all the detail you would need?
Are you talking about that plus on the website?
Yes, accessible to the web, from the website.
two quick things. Good news, Breeze is changing its name, so you won't have a problem with Breeze anymore.
Was a cold breeze.
CTE, change your name
It's, yeah, okay, we'll work on that. The other thing is, and I don't know how many of you would appreciate this, but one of the things we're looking at is having an app that allows us to communicate directly to everyone who's a part of any particular group at the center through the app, if you have the app on your phone. And that is something we're working on. So, and I don't want to get stuck on all this, but yes.
Will there be classes too?
Will there be classes? You know what?
On the app?
Yeah, and that's actually something, I know Marilyn offered classes for Breeze before and stuff, and there's something we need to do again. So, yes.
Dory has a question.
Dory?
Well, I don't have a question, but I am an idea person. So the idea that's coming in is kind of based on Johnny's question, is are there flyers, are there business cards? Is from my corporate experience, is anytime you change the brand or launch a new website or whatever, new messaging, you have a brand launch. And so the idea would be to have a day that would be a brand launch or something you want to call it. And then the people who come, you give them the, whoever wants to take 5 flyers and 10 business cards and give them the ways that they can share and do outreach and give them the ideas.
Thank you. Okay, so we do have another question about grant writer. Active search for a grant writer. Yes, we are actually would love anyone that has grant writing experience, know someone that's interested. There are grants out there. We know other people have gotten them, and it requires somebody both to find them and then someone who knows how to write those things. They're not necessarily that complicated, but you have to have a little bit of knowledge in how it works. So yes, we would love that. Any other comments on that? Okay. Oh, I took my glasses off. Yeah. Put calendar tab on home page. I don't know if that's there or not, but that kind of thing will be resolved with the new website. I know it's all very, very well organized. That's part of what we've been working on. Yes, Roger? Okay. Yeah, right. And center. Yep, so Roger's sharing that he tried to find the calendar on the website. And then after a couple days, he got hungry. So we understand that. And so, yes, and that's one of the big things. That was one of the big this whole calendar thing, the whole website thing started 4 years ago. Yeah, and we've been fighting this, what we have now, and trying not to spend too much time and effort in keeping it going, but just keep it limping along. And I think we're finally close to that big reveal. Are we still? Huh? Do we have any? Okay, Tamara, I'm not going to put Tamara on the spot right now, unless you have some information. Do you have some information? Okay.
So the website is almost finished except for the calendar section. But there's this program that's called display.church. If you want to look it up, I invite you to check it out if you're curious. But that I am 95% sure that's going to solve all of our problems, because it has really beautiful interfaces with Breeze, or future name. And it does both like the calendar section you talked about, where you click on it and you've learned more about the details. It also has reminders. It has a lot of key features that we need and want and maybe haven't even thought of yet. But I have to learn how to do that. And I also have to create some templates for it and do a lot of the what do they call it, the back end work? The back end work to make it happen. Oh, okay. So that's in the works, but it's not going to happen tomorrow, and I'll have to keep you posted. I'm thinking it might take another month, to be honest.
Another month is nothing
compared to 4 years. Yeah. I know Nancy's going nuts. She just wants to have it happen.
Because if it were up to me, it would be up with the thing that says this page is under construction.
Sherry, did you have a question? I'm sorry.
My question is, I'm sure everybody can hear me. No? What does home office provide? Does it? What goes through my mind is, does every local CSL have to reinvent the wheel over and over and over again? What does home office provide as far as any kind of grant writing people, outreach, branding, any of the things that have been mentioned as a resource to guide all the centers for spiritual living around not only in the United States, but around the world?
Yes. And there are, if you get in touch with the right people, there are some people I know that have grant writing experience. I'm sure we can find them. It's a matter of having someone that takes the time to make that contact and figure that out. The other thing is all the branding, all of that is out there, and we utilize it. So, and all the classes and all the things like that are things that are coming through there. So, yes, there is some of that, and there could be better sometimes, but they do have some of that, and some of it just means you have to go and ask somebody and say who can help. So, all right. On this one, it says open sign. Was that somebody referring to a sign on the front door, Roger? Okay, all right. So we might want an open sign. Roger says, let's open up. Rebecca.
I just I couldn't read or understand your financial printout because I can't see. And just briefly, are we contributing, tithing to home office?
Yes.
Okay.
Are they contributing to us?
Yes, they are. There's a lot of contributing. But we at one time tithe something more like a full tithe to home office. And then at some point when we were going through the bottom of things, that got backed off. We cut it out completely. We put it in at $100 a month. We're now at $200 a month. And I would love to see that go to a true tithe at some point. A true tithe, the 10% of what we bring in. go to home office to support what's happening there, and also to support our own giving, even as we say individuals need to do that as a community.
Makes it healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so thank you. And no, it wasn't listed up there, but it was part of the expenses. Yeah. Okay. Can classes be offered sometime other than Tuesdays? Excellent question. And yes, they can. And Tuesday just happened to be the one we picked. Last time we ran a class, the last 2 classes we ran on Thursdays. So there are different possibilities. If somebody is interested in a class and it doesn't work on the time or date that it's being offered, let us know specifically, and then we can either see if we can figure anything out, or at least we'll know for next time we're looking at offering it, or, you know, that kind of a thing. And what businesses have we been collaborating, and what does that look like? Well, our business collaborator, I think, is Gracie, but she collaborated with all the businesses here by just simply giving them meeting them, taking a letter to them, introducing who we were, inviting them to our open house, that kind of thing. She's also done a lot of work in the community with Sprouts and Costco and others, and brought in a lot of donations for various events that we've had, so that the snacks were gratis. We actually have, and don't tell anyone, but there's a tub full of stuff in the back room that's, you know, for the next event. That's why it's in a tub in the back room, because, you know, we don't want it to disappear. So anyway, yes, one more?
This was a suggestion, is occasionally could we offer a class or a workshop on grief support? And I think it's a great suggestion, and we would just need to find a person who's willing to submit the workshop proposal, and we'll get it going. So that's very, very much appreciated for that suggestion. And then, may I talk about new features as a way to do it? Okay. I am actually looking for a person or persons who would be interested, this is completely, probably more in the outreach department, who would be willing or interested in supporting the drive like we have done for school supplies for certain schools in the past. We have a school just around the corner down here called New Futures, and New Futures is a high school for pregnant teens and their boyfriends. And I didn't know if the parents, right? No, yeah, the parents of the baby. And so I just wanted you to be aware of that. I made a telephone call to the principal, and what I found out is they need things all year round, because they actually run a daycare in addition to having regular school, high school classes for the young people. The daycare is for babies 2 months to 3 years, and that makes it possible for these people to go even when they're pregnant and then bring their babies back and still continue their education. And I think since they're right in our neighborhood, they would make a great opportunity for us to support them in however they need it. They need things like snacks for during the day, they need baby diapers and wipes and all these kinds of things, but I need a person or people who can co-chair this thing for us to do, because I think as a community, it's wonderful for us to be this close to a school. Oh, and another thing about it is the principal told me that 1/3 of their student population is also homeless. And that is like, oh my goodness. So we may, individually, we may not have a whole lot to be able to supply to them, but we might be able to do something every single month, like, okay, we're doing diapers this month, or we're doing whatever, you know. Yeah, whatever. So I just, you know, I'm interested and excited about it, but I need other people who can also help get the thing going and getting it off the ground. So if you're interested, give a shout out to me. Thank you.
Thank you. There's another question?
Yeah, this is a finance question.
When we were in the other building, we talked about how Reverend Gail and Nancy were not receiving all, they were holding off on their pay. And when we moved here, we were saving almost $5,000 a month in rent to be here. And then last month, that was brought up again. I'm curious, have you guys been caught up with your pay?
Well, I can tell you what has happened. We've been diligently working to catch that up. The board has gotten Nancy and I to one paycheck in arrears. And the commitment right now is that I know this sounds silly, but we're going to pay on time. And what I mean by that is, when we're normally supposed to get paid, we're going to get paid, because over this last period, we've been getting paid whenever we could find money, okay? And so our commitment is to keep current and just stay that one check behind until we get enough money to pay it back. And yes, we saved a lot of money moving. The issue was that it cost us a lot more than we realized or than we thought. I don't know. But anyway, it cost us a lot of money to move. Yes, and the board has made a conscientious decision. That is one of the goals right now, and that's part of where that 4,000, how much was it? A week? 5,000. Oh my gosh, 5,000 a week. And I wanted you to note, though, in that 5,000, it was talking about repaying ourselves about $12,000 between now and the end of the year, okay, into accounts we borrowed from. So that's $1,000 or $1,200 a month of that. So my point being that we have a couple of steps on that. One is what we absolutely need to pay. The other one, stay current with the loans, et cetera, that we have. And the third step is to pay ourselves back. So those are all three in play. And if we're a little under, we can stretch some things out. But our goal is to get that part done so that our accounts are in order, completely in order. And speaking of that, there's been a lot of discussion about accounts, and we are currently working on contracting people to help us do some forensic work on our books, so that we can come to you at our thank you, our annual meeting. That's what it's called, so that we can come to you and give you a full report of all the money that's come in and where it's gone. We've kind of been focused like this, and and we need the bigger picture to be clear. And as that gets clear, it will also give us the step up for stepping into next year. So.
Okay, my next question.
Okay, there's another question. Go ahead.
Is, when you showed the finances and what expenses are, I'm curious of the comparison between the old building and this building.
The expenses?
Yeah, comparison.
Yeah, comparison.
So rent decreased by about $4,600 or $4,700 a month, which is incredible because we were already deeper in the hole, $4,500 every month, going deeper and deeper and deeper in the hole. So that stopped that bleeding, if you will. Everything else has gotten better. We're slowly but surely paying everything off. The other good news is utilities are lower. There's a lot of stuff that is ongoing that was more because we were in a bigger space. We're in a smaller space now, so there's less expenses because we're in a smaller space. So everything is better. How long is it going to take to get it all paid off? Not sure. We've got a timeline, but bottom line is we're on it, and it's improving week by week by week. I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to add that we had double utilities and pay off final utility bills and so on that extended into March. We also had double rent for 1 month or two, and so we had we had a lot of rent plus utilities that were part of our transition expenses from Alexander to here. And so we were really front-loaded the first 3 months of this year, in spite of ultimately having lower rent, lower utilities, lower expenses pretty much overall.
And my last question. I hate to tell everybody, but we seem to be expanding. And what happens if we expand more? We don't have room for people.
We have 2 services.
Yeah, we'll have 2 services for sure. If we, you know,
Repeat her question.
yeah, so her question was, we're obviously expanding. We've gone from like 25 or 30 people a week to now we're up to almost 50 people a week, sometimes more. What happens when we expand so much this room won't hold that many people? The answer is we'll have a second service. That's what, I mean, I was in a congregation in Austin that grew out to almost 2,000 people. We had 3 services every morning and had a new sanctuary. But we're working toward all of that.
And we have a whole lot of extra chairs up behind there. And we're always being creative. And I will tell you just my own thing is that I'm very chintzy with putting chairs out because I want people to feel like we're full and I want the energy to be here. So there's room in here to put more in than you might think. So we'll take a while before we get to that second service. Well, I just mean, we'll have to add more people to get than you might think before we get there. So.
I'm claiming that we have a second service by the end of the year.
Okay, the end of the year, that's it.
She's claiming it.
She's claiming it. Thank you, Ro. Ro is claiming a second service by the end of the year. Drink that in. Well, I want to say thank you to everyone. Are we complete with questions and comments? Uh-oh, Lois has something to say.
So, I just want to say that I really, really, really love this community. And it's been huge. I really love this community, and it's been an absolutely amazing, more than you can know, thrust for my self-growth and development, et cetera. I mean, just incredible. So, what I want to say is these people are brilliant and competent and amazingly, totally committed. And I probably speak for everybody. I just want to say thank you so much. Because we are in your hands.
Are we complete here?
We're whole and perfect, too.
We are complete and whole and perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah, Johnny.
Today's sermon made me think about this. And it's and the chairs and the other things that just were said, but the vision that we hold for this center is what's going to make this center successful. So what we need to be doing is focusing on that vision each and every day. We need to be seeing this center grow in our minds so it's made manifest in our existence here. And that's all I say.
Thank you.
I just had one thing I wanted to add. Never, ever, ever forget that the board is comprised of congregants.
Especially when you're mad.
Yeah. Okay, are we all complete here? Okay, let's get ready to finish this up then. And surprise, surprise.
Oh, thank you. Oh, me again. Yeah, I can't do it sitting down. I'm going to invite us all, if you're good, to just stand up. If you want to grab a hand, that's great. Otherwise, just stand. I think we all need to stand. If nothing else, it'll get our knees working.
Before we do the closing, I just want to thank everybody for being here, for putting up with us and our little foibles and our. I am grateful for your support and your encouragement, and it shows by your presence. So thank you.
And thank you, Johnny, for those words. Thank you, Lois. And I want to just say that the amount of answered prayer that I see around this group is amazing. Many of you probably don't even know it, where it's happening, but I'm sure where it's happening in your life and where it's happening in those closest to you, you know it. So as we continue to see that happening, it's making a huge difference. So I take this moment for us to just be in gratitude for life, for this life, for all that is, knowing that Spirit is the one life that is our life. It is all of us. That this community is the light of Spirit, and we shine bright forth right here in Albuquerque, right here in this little neighborhood. How grateful I am for that. And I'm blessing each and every one here, each of those who are online, and all of those whose love and heart is here. And so in this moment, I'm going to invite you all to take a moment and think of one thing that you're grateful for. And to close this prayer, when I get to 3, you're all going to shout it so the neighbors hear it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. And so it is.